Uh, Joshua Gerard.
Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, Gautam, please go ahead.
Okay. So we have to look into this each bodies one by one and what are all the exams conducted. Okay. So let's start. Okay. So before starting any government exams, you need to know what are your strengths. Okay. Some people can solve aptitude very easily. Some people have very good memory. People have very good writing skills. Okay. So what are all your strengths and what is your passion? Okay. That's the thing which drives you in this process. Okay. You cannot just simply go for an exam or some post just because it's having good salary or some better opportunities. Okay, you need to know your passion and choose your target. Okay, there are multiple streams. Okay, if you go on trying to write exams for different streams or different types of exam continuously, you will never crack a single exam. Okay, so you have to prepare for your exam you are trying to crack. Okay, and you have to know how to crack an exam without deviation and like a lot of struggle. You have to consult with people who are already in this process. Okay, so knowing your strengths is about knowing yourself and know your passion. Okay, you can what kind of job you are trying to achieve and what kind of service you are going to do. Those things you need to know first about yourself. Okay, before going in, let's divide the exams into major streams. So the first one is public administration. So the public administration goes with civil services, group 1, group 2, and CGL exams. Okay. These set of exams require high level of understanding from general studies. The general studies part plays a major role, and there is a small part which plays for aptitude. So the aptitude and reasoning. And then we go to banking. So banking exams, like they expect people to solve questions very fastly. Okay, in within 1 hour, you're expected to solve 100 questions. 25 marks from general studies, 25 from quants, 25 from reasoning, and 25 from English. Okay, so banking exams, it's all about speed and memory. Okay, and then engineering stream. These jobs are particularly reserved for particular engineering streams. Okay, you will get jobs from PWD department or Indian Engineering Services or State Engineering Services. And then we move for uniform services. What are all these uniform services? You can go for defense services. For example, CDS, Combined Defense Services, and AFCAT. Like those exams we will go see later. Okay, and these exams you need high level of personality and physical fitness and also knowledge about general studies. And then we move to specialist streams. What are all this? Like these specialist streams are exclusively for particular degree holders. Okay, for example, librarian, let it be geological survey of India, archaeological survey of India. So let's not focus about the specialist streams and engineering streams. Okay, here we will go through about graduate level exams. Okay, so let's start with Union Public Service Commission. Like it is a constitutional body and it's a watchdog for the merit system. Okay, so this is the most coveted exam in India. Every year, 10,000, like 10 lakh people apply for this exam, and almost only half of the people have the courage to appear for it. Only 5 lakh people appear for it. At the end of the process, nearly 1,000 people crack this exam. Okay, so this exam has three phases. Okay, preliminary examination, mains examination. Mains examination is a descriptive one. Like you have to write 9 papers, each paper for 250 or 300 marks, and then finally you are going to see the interview process. Okay, and Indian Forest Service is it's also related with civil service exams, but the mains examination is different. You will write the same preliminary exam for civil services and forest service, and a different mains exam for forest service, and then there is an interview. So most people ask, how do I start? Okay, civil services, like if you start from, if you see, it looks like a big task ahead, but the process is too simple, and everyone who has cleared a graduate degree with 3 years, they can apply for it. Normally, the process starts around February. The notification comes around February, and then the prelims exams is conducted at the end of the May or at the starting of the June. Then there will be mains exams in the September or October. Then there will be interview process. This interview process will be a prolonged one. It will be conducted in Delhi. And then finally, your merit list will come. And then based on your marks, you will be allocated to different cadres. Okay. So we see UPSC civil services exam is only an exam for IAS, but actually it works for 24 cadres of jobs. Okay. Among this, Indian Police Service and Indian Administrative Service. These two are all India services. What do you mean by all India services? All India services, you are expected to work all around India. You will be working under a state government, but you are employed by the central government. Okay. Then goes for central services. As Nandakumar Sir is himself as an IRS officer, this is a central service cadre. Okay. The Indian Revenue Service, Indian Railway Personnel Service, like there's a lot of service exams which are always employed under central government. Okay, so let's go with the exam process. The prelims exam, this is a screening test. Okay, there will be 100 questions asked. Okay, each question has 2 marks, and there will be a negative mark of 1/3, which means 0.66. I can see 2 people have raised hands. Like if you have questions, like reach out to Joshua or something, like we can address it at the end of the session. Joshua?
I will address it at the end.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So civil service prelims exams is more about a screening test. So at last, this exam can stop you from becoming an IAS. But mains exam is the most important thing. But you need to crack the prelims to write the mains exam at the first place. So the cutoff for every year always stands at 95 to 100. Okay, the last year cutoff was too low, it was at 95. Okay, so you need to crack, if you need to get a 95 score, all you need to do is at least trying to crack around 48 questions. Okay, 48 questions, you have to give answers correctly. That includes you have to avoid mistakes. Normally what aspirants do, right? They know only about 30 to 40 questions correct. Okay, the rest of the questions they have to do by guesswork. So what is mean by guesswork? Like, I don't know the answer of a question, but I will definitely know one of the option is not correct. If I can eliminate 2 options for a single question, my probability for putting that answer correct is 1/2. But I'm going to lose a mark for 1/3. So the rest of the process is about eliminating the wrong answers. So that's how a lot of people crack it. No one knows 45 questions correct for sure. And I'm damn sure 10 questions no one will able to touch it. Okay, those will be very sophisticated questions. And if some people start preparing for those 10 questions, right, they can never manage the syllabus. Okay, so the prelims exam is all about general studies. So we will later on discuss about general studies. The prelims exam is not all about general studies, and there is a paper called CSAT, that is an aptitude paper. That's just a qualifying nature. You don't need to achieve high marks in that. You need to just clear with minimum marks. You need to be correct about 29 questions only for 100. That is easy to achieve. Okay. Now let's discuss about the mains paper. So the mains exam contains 9 descriptive papers. So as the details are already in the screen, there is an essay paper, first general studies paper, and 2 optional papers. The optional is something you have to choose. Okay, there are a lot of subjects you can choose for optional: public administration, sociology, geography, or you can even choose language papers. Tamil is also an optional. You can choose many optional papers in regional languages as well. And there are 2 papers, like one is English and one is your regional language. These 2 papers you just need to qualify. You don't need to score high marks. Your rank depends on this essay paper, general studies, and optional paper marks. Each will be conducted for 250 marks. And the writing time for each paper is around 3 hours. Okay. The thing about mains exam is that you have to write in simple language. Nobody expects you to use jargons and write high level text. Like, they want to use simple words that the correcting person can understand the simple questions. Okay, So we will later on see the questions. Okay. And finally, once you clear the mains exam, you will be expected to attend the interview. Okay, so interview will be conducted in Delhi, and they will conduct batch by batch. And this it is about personality. Okay, it's not about your knowledge, it's not about your degree, or not about your score. It doesn't matter whether you are from IIT or IIM. It doesn't matter you have scored 90% or something. All it needs is that a perfect personality who can manage civil services. Okay, so it's not about more about intellectual, it's about personality. Okay, and there will be 275 marks allotted for this. Normally people will get around 170 to 200. Okay, if you perform even averagely, you will get around 170. Okay, if you have adverse risk, then it will be affected. Okay, so with the marks of the mains added together with the interview, your merit list will be prepared. Okay, based on your merit list, you will be getting the services. Like the services, what I mean is, it's IAS or IPS, IRS. Like there are 24 services which are available under this exam, and there will be normally around 1,000 posts each year, and you will be able to crack it with this process. Okay, let me see. So civil services is all about this. Okay, when we go through general studies, like we will later on go through general studies. When we go through general studies, we will discuss about like how the questions are asked in civil services in preliminary and mains. I have covered mostly with this UPSC. Okay, so I want people to aim high, like Group 4 or MTL exams. Anyone can crack it with 10th plus level. Okay, all of you here are graduates, and I want you guys to aim high. Okay, because during low level exams, you will have more number of people attending, and the competition levels are very high. Okay, but when you move on to better exams, okay, like UPSC or Group 1, right, the quality of competition gets better. Okay, you won't get any random person easily crack it. Okay, you need better preparation, you need better orientation, you need writing skills. Not everyone will have writing skills. Most of them will be able to easily attempt objective type questions. Okay, but writing skills are available with only a few skilled people. It's not about intellectual capacity, it's about their personality, and it's their ability to think. It's their ability to think from ground level. Okay, so someone is who is spoon fed, who has studied abroad, or someone, right? Those kind of people will never be able to crack civil services, because the requirement for civil services exams, right, they are mostly about from ground level note views. Okay, from those views only they will ask questions. Okay, later on when we go to general studies, you will see what kind of questions they will be asking. Okay, then let's move on to SSC, Staff Selection Commission. So first we have seen about UPSC. UPSC is conducting civil service exams. There are other exams as well. Those are not in administrative streams. We will see later about it. Okay, then it comes for Staff Selection Commission. Staff Selection Commission is an organization under Government of India. The opportunity is exclusively for employment under Government of India. Okay, you can see the exams conducted by it: the CGL, CHISL, Junior NGR, and Central Police Organization exam. Okay, this examination, the first one CGL, is for Combined Graduate Level exam. This stands for. Okay, they will conduct these exams each year. And CHISL is only for higher secondary level, and then MTL stands for 10th level. Okay, and sub-inspector exams are for Central Armed Paramilitary Forces. Okay, they are not, they are going to employ in CAPF, BSF, those kind of organizations. You will be getting employment. Okay, so let's start with the combined graduate level. Okay, like this exam has 3 tiers. Okay, preliminary, mains. The same pattern you can see in you will get to see the same pattern again and again. Okay, the CGL exam starts with tier 1 preliminary. You can see there are 4 sections: general intelligence and reasoning, general awareness, quantitative aptitude, and English comprehension. Like each section will have 25% of marks, total 200 marks. Okay, and then you can go to mains exam. In this mains exam, okay, the questions are also about objective type. Some of you know about quantitative aptitude. Like quantitative aptitude is about using mathematical skills, practical solutions, and then English language. When it comes to CGL, English language and bank exams, English language is always 25% is always there. Okay, so English language is very essential, and then statistics. In for particular streams, they require statistics and then general studies. That's we are going to see later on, and then they will go for tier 3. The tier 3 is descriptive type. Now they have coupled tier 2 and tier 3. At the morning session, you will write a tier 2 exam, and then in the noon session, you will be able to write descriptive paper. Like this, there's a little bit process change going on recent days. Okay, then we will get to know about it once the notification comes for next time. Okay, so this you have to write an essay and a letter. Okay, so writing essays, there is an art of writing essays. Okay, essay is all about expressing your ideas. It's not about expressing your knowledge. Okay, how you articulate your idea. So if you suppose you say India is a country with pluralism, and it needs to maintain diversity of views, diversity of culture. Okay, you need to defend that answer. Okay, so how you defend it? You can see from simple way of life. India is about plurality. Okay, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, you can always see people's culture, food, deity, and language. Everything changes, but there is an underlying unity on it. Okay, so how this unity is built, how people approach it, those kind of things you should be able to express your idea, not about your knowledge. Okay. So currently there are no interviews for SSC jobs because recently government has done away with it. So this is eligibility criteria about age. Like we don't need to worry about it because most of people are less than 25 here. It goes on from 28 to 32, like depending on your age, your exam, and depending on the community you're from. So those kind of details you will be able to see in the notification itself. Okay. So here we are going to see about overview of each exams and what are the different opportunities we have available. Okay. So most of the people never know about SSC and they will never try. Okay. So people who are writing for banking, they can parallelly try for SSC as well. Okay. There is a little bit of change between them because SSC focuses on 25% of general studies. When you go for banking, the general studies is much oriented about financial system. It's not about overview of the economy, Indian economy as a whole. Okay. So this for combined higher secondary level, it needs for +2 qualification. Like here you will have lot number of jobs, around 5,000 jobs every year. Okay. So this process is mostly related to clerical level posts. Okay. But the thing is that if you are preparing for CGL, right, you will be easily able to crack CHSL. Okay. CHSL is just a step down version of CGL. Okay. Most of you are aware about TNPSC Group 2. Okay. That Group 2 exams and lower the posts, right, they can be lower than Group 2 exams can be compared with SSC CHSL. Okay. So this process is similar, like prelims, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Okay, this tier 3 skill test, right, that is only for particular jobs. If you are going to apply for a typewriter, then you will be able to, you should be doing this test. Mostly it is tier 2 tier paper only, and the tier 2 is mostly in a pen and paper mode. You can see the like at the end of the session we will share these details with you. Okay, so no need to take down these things. Okay, we will share this with you, and at the end of the session we will also address these questions. Okay, and then we go for Central Armed Forces. Okay, Central Armed Forces, what are all the Central Armed Forces? Okay, Central Armed Forces for Delhi Police, Sub Inspector of CAPF. CAPF means Central Armed Paramilitary Forces, and Assistant Sub Inspector of CSIF, Central Industrial Security Force. Like those guys are who are guarding our Kalpakkam, airports, nuclear reactors. Those forces will be guarding our critical industry infrastructure. Okay, and these jobs require more understanding about your general studies subject and little bit of aptitude. And then first they will be going for paper 1. Those who clear paper 1 are expected to appear for physical endurance test. that will be conducted in Hyderabad or in some places in North India, depending upon your location. For us, it's mostly in Hyderabad. Then you go for paper 2 and then final detailed medical examination. This detailed medical examination is just like a screening test. It has nothing to do with your physical endurance. Okay. So you can see how these sections are divided. Okay. Number of questions asked. And there is a negative marking in this section as well. Mostly the central government conducted exams do have negative marks, and the banking exams also have. Like wherever you can, where you can see negative marks is in group exams, TNPC group exams, you won't see negative marks. And rest, mostly you can see negative marks depending upon 1/3 or 1/4. Okay. So people who need to know about general knowledge a bit and then quantitative English, like these things are mostly a general framework for SSC and banking as well. Okay, the only difference between SSC and banking is that the concentration they give on general knowledge part. Okay, the general knowledge part is mostly about financial awareness rather than overview of the economy, environment, or geology. Okay, those things we will discuss later on. And English language comprehension, this goes for 200 marks. This is a pen and paper test. Okay. So if you clear these 2 levels, you will straight away get a job. You don't need to attend for any interview. And there has been controversies recently, but I can assure you, right, like the process is mostly utmost and honest. Okay. You guys have to try for this. Like if you are trying for SSC, CGL, you can try for CHSL as well. And MTL is more like 10th qualification level. Okay, that I haven't covered here, but that's also a step down version. Like if you're preparing for SSC CGL, you can easily crack these 2 things as well. So this one is more related to a defense job. Okay, people who are interested in defense posts, you have to try this exams, and there are other defense exams as well. We will cover it in the last section. Okay. And then we can finally come for TNPSC. These TNPSC exams, most of us are aware about it, but we are not aware about the job profiles and like how they are conducted every year in a particular manner. If you go for TNPSC website, okay, you can see a schedule for an entire year. Like what are all the exams they are going to conduct, and what are all the orders, and what are all the expected vacancies. The vacancies differ when there is a notification. Okay, so you can plan accordingly. Like due to this COVID, like there has been a stop in this process, but regularly TNPSC conducts examinations for group 1, group 2, and group 4 exams every year. Okay, so let's start with them. Okay, in those engineering posts and specialist posts, let's not talk about it. Like these things require particular degree and particular degree. And now we will talk about generalist exams. Those exams you can crack with a minimum 3-year degree itself. Okay, so there is a one-time registration in TNPSC portal. Once you have applied for this one-time registration, every time just you need to use that one-time registration to apply for new exams. Okay, I think TNPSC is giving getting 150 rupees for normally for a one-time registration. You can write 3 exams for that. After that, each examination there will be a certain cost for it. Okay, so let's start with group 1. These exams, right, it will give it for most coveted post in Tamil Nadu. Okay, the number of vacancies is limited. It's less than, normally it's less than 100. Last year it was less than last year it was 196. Okay, like last year was very high number of vacancies are there, but considering the delay in group 1 exams and more people are going to retire in this time, I expect a certain rise in further coming times. Okay, actually the group 1 notification was already out. The exam was supposed to be conducted in June, but due to COVID crisis, there has been postponed. Okay. Again, the similar pattern arises: preliminary exam, main exams, and interview. You can see in civil services exam, you are requested to write 9 descriptive papers, out of which 7 are considered for your cutoff. So in group 1, you are expected to write only 3 descriptive papers. Okay, and each will be conducted for 250 marks. And prelims marks is for 300 marks. There will be 200 questions. and the cutoff almost stands around 130 or something. You don't have negative marks here, so everyone will be attending 200 marks here. Okay, and then finally you're going to approach for the interview process. So how about cracking these exams? So this is most about your general studies, group 1 preliminary. Okay, normally 50 questions will be asked from aptitude part. Okay, you will be expected to solve them, and like this 50 questions, right, like they are the most easiest part of it. You can always be certain about the answer. And then 150 questions you will be addressing from general studies. The general studies what I'm going to talk about is Indian polity, geography, economy, environment. These subjects are totally considered as general studies. This general studies plays a major role in TNPSC, UPSC civil services, and then SSC. Okay, so when you go to banking stream, this general studies get very low proportion, and then aptitude and English reasoning they get very higher proportions. Okay, and about this descriptive papers. Okay, these 3 descriptive papers are about the general studies themselves. Okay, whatever you have studied in general studies, there you are going to present it in a descriptive form. Okay, the questions are, we will discuss it later. Okay, and those are the things that we have already discussed. Okay, then mains and interview to 50 marks. Okay, the thing with group 1 mains exam is that it is relatively easy compared to UPSC. Okay, the answers they ask are straight away from the books mostly. Okay, the last year they have changed it little bit. They have moved it towards civil services exams, UPSC. Okay, the questions are a little bit of analytical in nature. They're turning into analytical, but normally almost 50% of questions you can straight away answers if you have studied them. Okay, so you need good writing skills. You can write in English as well as in Tamil. Okay, there's no language barrier. And recently in group 1 mains exams, they have entered Tamil culture as a part of it. So what is this Tamil culture and heritage? Sorry, Tamil culture and heritage. Okay, this Tamil culture and heritage, right? They ask about what are all the analytical and philosophical context of Tirukural, and what are all the what are all the other sorry, what was the thing? Okay, what are all the cultural part of it? What are all the freedom fighters who contributed to Tamil culture and our language related skills? Okay, these exams, though it's in Tamil, you can write in English as well. Okay, you can use the English script and write it. Okay, so this mains exam, there has been changes recently, and we do not have enough time to discuss all these things. Okay, because we have a lot of exams to cover and general studies part also to be covered. Okay, so if you have any doubts, we will cover it at the end of the session. Okay, so then we go to group 2 exams. Like you don't, like the posts are here. Okay, the what are the posts? Deputy Superintendent of Police, Assistant Commissioner of Commercial Taxes, and Deputy Collector. These posts, right? They were just starting just next to an IAS level officer. Okay, these group 1 posts are gazetted posts, and these are most coveted ones. Okay, they are conducted mostly every year, and you can easily crack with good writing skills and general studies knowledge. Okay. Now let's move on to TNPSC Group 2 and Group 2A. Like Group 2A is non-interview post, and Group 2 is an interview post. Okay, so this is a post for graduate level, but it is just next to IAS level exam. Okay, you will be entering into this office as a revenue inspector or commercial tax officer or assistant commercial tax officer. So these posts, Group 2 posts, are mostly official office, like managerial in nature, and later on you will get good promotions, and you can reach, like as Nandakumar sir said, you can reach the level of conferred IAS officer later on in your service. This exam contains prelims, mains, and then interview. Okay, what is the difference between mains exams of a Group 2 and Group 1 exam? Again, the difficulty level differs the subject matter they are trying to cover differs, and the area of expertise you need is a little bit less compared to group 1 exams. Okay, and then finally group 4 and VAO exams. These exams require 10 plus qualifications only, and they directly recruit from a single examination they are going to conduct for it. Okay, if you ask me, the number of people appear for group 4 exams are very high, and VAO exams are very high. The salary is good, but the nature of work is clerical nature, like a more clerical and office by nature. Okay, but more people are appear for it. People with good skills and good confidence. I want you guys to appear for group 1 and group 2 exams. They actually suit your degree and your talent. Okay, group 4 exam, anyone can appear for it with 10th qualification. So I always urge people to aim high and then achieve it. Okay, so anyone can achieve those things. Like, that's not for us. We have to try to achieve further. Okay, and finally, banking exams. Bank exams, they are conducted by various bodies. Okay, in the first slide I have given what are all the bodies which are conducting bank exams, but we don't need to go through individual bank exams separately, because most of the bank exams follow a particular format. Okay, a 25% of marks will be allotted for general studies, and a 25% for English, then a 25% for your quantitative aptitude, then 25% for reasoning. Okay, and nowadays IBBS or SBA, they are asking more about your computer aptitude. Like, computer aptitude is so simple. How you going to express your MS skills, like MS Office skills? What do you know about networks? What do you know about malware? What is a Trojan horse? Like, those kind of stuffs are like preliminary knowledge about computer, and those things you can easily crack about it. Okay, so what are all the exams available in bank? So this one, you can always see probationary officer. This probationary officer is like a manager, assistant manager rank. Okay, later on you can promote to manager easily, and then they will conduct exam for clerk, and then they will conduct for specialist officer. What is the specialist officer? The specialist officer is for a particular engineering degree or for computer science. You need some degree for that, and you will be required to write exams about your specialist about your specialist operations. Okay, normally if you're a student from CS background, you are expected to write more about your computers and those things. Okay, those questions will be more about a particular stream. Okay, so here we are about general services. Okay, PO exams is the toughest part. Then you go for clerk exams. During PO exams or clerkical exams, nowadays they are requiring you to write an essay or letter writing. Okay, they are expecting some writing skills as well. Okay, and these bank exams are, except UPSC, the SSC exams or bank exams, they are conducted online. Okay, you have to use computers to write the exams. They have exact time limit for each sections. Okay, you have to attend these sections within their time limit. For example, we're supposed to write 100 questions in 1 hour. Okay, there's the 25% of marks are allocated for English section. Okay, nowadays 25% of mark, 15 minutes you have to complete your English section. You can start with any order. Okay, the clocks runs automatically. When the time ends, the screen closes abruptly. Okay, so do you need some level of practice in computers as well? Because when you try in a physical paper, you get to scribble a lot. And banking exams, these banking exams are more about speed. Okay, you need to practice regularly for IBBS or SBA or RBA. Okay, anyone can attend this 80 out of 100 exams, provided there is time. Time is the most crucial matter. Okay, it's not about you are able to solve the exams. It's about to how fast you can solve the exams, because within this time limit, most people are not able to at least attempt 40 to 50 questions. Okay, the thing you have to do is that practice regularly. So at the end of the session, okay, we will discuss about how you have to approach each exams. Okay, the training you have to take, the kind of test series. Like in case of bank exam, let's discuss here. So in case of bank exams, you have to get familiar with quantitative aptitude, your reasoning ability, and you not only be familiar with it, you have to write exams regularly. Every day, you have to try at least 30 or to 40 questions. in each sections. Okay, so you have to practice them regularly and make it as a muscle memory. Just like seeing a few questions, simplification question, you should be able to execute the shortcut and straight away give the answer in few seconds. Okay, that's right, you have to give the answer within a 12 to 15 seconds. Okay, then only you will be able to attempt 100 questions within an hour. Okay, so and the clerical exams are also a similar pattern. The pattern we will be going to see later on. Okay, so this is a things matter. Okay, uh, I have told like what are all the streams you have to choose. Either you have to choose public administration, either you have to choose for a bank. So public administration is more about general studies and aptitude. Like aptitude is more about qualifying in nature. And then banking exam. Banking exam is more about aptitude and your ability to solve them fastly. Okay, people with good numerical and reasoning skills. Banking is your ground. Okay, this computer knowledge is basic. Okay, and then about RBA. RBA conducts grade B officer as well, and RBA as a conducts exam for assistant. Okay, normally SSC and banking exams they're bilingual only. You have to either attend in English or in Hindi. Okay, and they all have English language part in it. So people need to develop their basic English language skills. They don't ask about high level English. Okay, you need to develop your basic English skills, and there are particular ways you can develop your English skills and books which can help for them. Okay, so this is just a sample syllabus. Like most of the SSC or banking exams, right? They follow the generic pattern. Okay, so get familiarized with these topics. What I'm trying to show is I'm not going to go through all this stuff because these things are highly technical and you have to work for them for more than 100 hours combined together. Okay, so I'm just showing you what are all the things they're covering. Okay, people who are good at mathematics skills and reasoning skills, it is your ground. And English language is essential for banking exam. Okay, then we finally move on to defense exams. So today, even women can appear in Indian Air Force, Army, or Navy, even flying squads. Okay, in Indian Air Force, they will be asking you to write for like appear for technical and non-technical batch, and even in non-technical, there is a difference between ground handling and then there is a flying batch. Okay, so even women can appear for this. Like government has recently relaxed that women can become pilot. We have seen a first batch of women pilots coming out of IAF and Indian Navy as well. Okay, so this exams, the main thing about these exams is that you have to appear before 25 years of age. For flying by squad, like it's 24 to 25, and then ground handling, like it's 26 is the maximum age. Like there are age relations applied to a particular community, whether depending upon your OBC or open category or CST. Okay, so you can go through this in a separate notification. The exams conducted for defense are CAPF, Central Armed Paramilitary Force, CDS, Combined Defense Services. Like these are all these exams mentioned here, right? They are for office level exam, officer level exam. So you're not going to be a Jawan or a soldier. Okay, you are going to be an officer. You will be leading them from the front. Okay, and they expect your personality along with your intelligence skills. Okay, as Nandakumar Shah said, it's more about your personality in the tests. Okay, then in basic level of physical fitness, they don't ask you to maintain high level of physical fitness. You have to run for 10 or 22 kilometers an hour. Like they need a basic fitness, and they will train you in this process. Okay, once you get elected into this institution, they will make you get that physical fitness. Okay, these exams, right, follow a general pattern. The first thing, they start with the prelims exam. Once you clear this prelims exam, okay, you will be appearing in their center at a center for 5 days of personality test. That's right, the personality test does not end in a single day, so you have to go and stay there for 5 days. Okay, the first day will be mostly a screening session. Okay, the most of the candidates are expected to do picture description and group discussion. Like they will show a picture and they are expected you to give your opinion, or you have to write about what you feel about the picture, like a picture description. They will how they know how you think about it, what are all the language you use, what are all the ideas you have, like those. That's about picture description. It's more about testing your personality, and they will conduct a group discussion in the first day. Okay, there will be a topic, like it will be mostly related to your picture description. Once you're done with this group discussion, they will send most of the people who are not eligible away from the first day itself. The remaining 4 days, all those candidates will participate in various activities. Those will be mostly about your individual personality and your ability to work with people. Okay, those exams are really interesting, and these exams, right, you will come out with flying colors. Okay, serving in an Indian Army or Navy or Air Force. Okay, it is such a prestigious post. Okay, even in civil services, you will not get such a respect from your community. Okay, just saying that you are an officer from Indian Army, from an officer from Indian Air Force. Okay, that gives you a pride. Okay, so people in this young ages, you should definitely try this defense exams. So what do you need for these defense exams? Okay, uh, let's go with each. Before going into this defense exams, let me tell you about the overview. The overview is about just general studies and your quantitative aptitude. These difficulty levels are nowhere near SSC as banking exams. Just they are using it as a screening test. Okay, once you are cleared preliminary screening test, the real test start at the personality test level. Okay, they want the best candidates with good personality. Okay, so you need to know about more about general studies and a little bit about your personality. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Okay, let's go with this combined defense services first. So as I have said, this is being conducted by Union Public Service Commission. That's it, UPSC. That's what it stands for. It's one of the examinations conducted by UPSC, and it is conducted twice a year. Okay, so most people never know when the exams comes. So you have to be watchful about it. It starts twice a year, in September and February to March, one batch, and there is another batch in November. Okay, so these exams, they recruit officers for Indian Army, Air Force, and Navy. Okay, these are all officer level exams. Okay, general knowledge, English, and elementary mathematics. As I have said, the written exam is mostly about screening. Later on, they will choose the best candidates from personality test, and then it will go for document verification and medical examinations. Okay, the personality test is the crucial part in it. So you have special institutions which can guide you with this, and you can have seniors like if there was an opportunity, some other people can explain about it. Okay, and then it goes for AFCAT. Indian Air Force conducts exams twice a year for their officers. Okay. Other than combined defense services, they conduct it for their own services. Okay, AFCAT, like you can easily, when you prepare for SSC or when you prepare for civil services, right? AFCAT preliminary exams, you will be able to clear it easily. The process is similar to CDS only, so I don't want to go through the process again. Preliminary, mains, personality test. Okay, process is similar to CDS since we are running short of time. So the thing you have to notice that the age limit is too short. Okay, if you are going to try for defense services, you have to start early. Okay, because some people work in private employment, they try parallelly, and then later on they start in later on ages at 24 or 25. But by the time you reach 25, right, in this defense examination, your eligibility criteria is almost over. Since you guys are almost just out of the college, it is a very good opportunity for you. The competition is not high. Like as your age increases, right, as you move on to 28 or 29, right, the level of competition increases proportionately. Okay, these exams are easy for people who are coming just out from college. Okay, so you guys have to try it seriously. So these exams actually, other than TNPSC exams, mostly you will see negative marks. Okay, so a general tip for how you manage negative marks questions. Okay, suppose there is a question, there are 4 options. Okay, so let's take the UPSC for example. It provides you 2 marks for the question. Okay, for every wrong answer, 1/3, which means 0.66 mark will be deducted. Okay, So straight away, you're just by fluke closing your eyes, you're taking an option. Okay, your probability of that question being correct is 1/4, which is just 25%. That is nowhere enough. Okay, if you are able to eliminate two options, okay, sometimes you don't know the right answer, but you can say definitely these two answers are not correct. So if you eliminate these two options, right, you straight away attempt it. Even if you don't know which one is correct among these two answers, right, you straight away attempt it. Your probability of being correct is 50%, but you are losing a mark for 33%. Let's suppose you are attempting 10 questions in this pattern. Okay, 10 questions you are attempting with 50% probability. Okay, so your right answers will be 5 questions, your wrong answers will be 5 questions. It's mostly because probability you can the probability you can be also correct for 10 questions as well. So at most your 5 questions are right, 5 questions are wrong. What are all the marks you get? For 5 questions correct, you will get 10 marks. For 5 wrong questions, 1/3 you will be getting wrong marks. Okay, which means almost 2 marks you will be getting negative marks. So while attempting 10 questions, you will be able to get 8 marks easily if you are able to eliminate these options. So never leave a question unattempted if you are able to eliminate 1 or 2 options. Okay, then you will move for Central Armed Police Forces Assistant Commander. So this Combined Defense Services and this Central Armed Police Forces Assistant Commander exam, both are conducted by UPSC Public Service Commission. The difference between Combined Defense Examination, defense is under Ministry of Defense. Central Armed Police Forces, right, it is under Ministry of Home. It's under Home Ministry. Sorry. The Border Security Force, CSIF, CRPF, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, Shastra Seemappa, like these forces have specialist operations. Okay, they work for particular requirement. For example, Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force, right, they are the one guarding our frontiers in northeast and north. Okay, BSF, they guard our borders with Pakistan and Bangladesh. Okay, so this defense force, like, you more than a job, it is a service to the nation. You need dedication to do that. Okay, you need dedication to apply for these exams, and you have to walk in there. Like, this is a prestigious exam. Okay, so you need our expected level, minimum level of physical efficiency. Okay, let's go with the summary of this government exams. Okay, so whatever I have covered are about general services exams. Even with a 3-year degree course, they can straight away approach all these exams, RBI, Grade B, or assistant. Okay, the thing with RBI Grade B is you need to know more about Indian economy. Okay, so that's the kind of expectation. So the general context is already given. Okay, so general studies, quantitative aptitude, reasoning, English language skills, those are available in all exams. The proportion differs. Okay, and you have to choose your stream wisely, because you cannot prepare for banking exams and civil services simultaneously. The reason why I am saying is that you will be able to crack tier 1, you will be able to crack prelims, you will be able to crack first level of exam. But if you want to go up to the final level and get the job secured, right, you need to be focused about a particular stream. Why I have separated the streams, right? Each stream has requires different level of attention, because you cannot practice banking and civil services simultaneously. Civil services is more about writing skills. Okay, you have to write 9 papers for 250 marks each. Okay, and bank exam is about your speed to do calculations. Okay, so every year, what max most people do the mistake is that they try to appear for every exam they get notification. Okay, so suppose there are like all these exams, right? The funny thing is that every month you will gather an exam. Okay, sometimes you will have more than 2 exams in a month. Okay, so if you start appearing for each exams every month, you will get hardly 30 or 20 days for preparation of this exam. You will be able to crack only their preliminary, like if you are good at it, you will be able to crack their preliminary exams. Some people are extraordinary. I'm not talking about them. Okay, they will be able to crack most of the exams. But what I see from our most of our students, right, the way they struggle, right, they try to switch between streams consistently, and they never focus on a single stream. My foremost advice is concentrate on single stream first. Okay, so you can appear for other exams. Okay, but never lose your focus on your preliminary stream. Okay, stream. Only if you are focused on a particular stream, you will be able to crack that exam. It doesn't matter you have clear prelims, you have cleared mains, you have appeared for interview. Okay, it doesn't matter to the outside world. It's a binary world. Okay, either you get the job or you didn't get the job. It doesn't mean to them if you say I have cleared prelims, I have cleared mains, I have appeared for interview twice, I have appeared for mains 5 times. Those things doesn't matter. Only thing matter is that whether you get the job or not. So I want all of you focus on your particular stream, and you have to score good marks and get the job. Okay, getting the job is the ultimate goal. Not creating prelims or mains is the goal. Okay, so develop your personality, develop your skills, and the thing is that you guys are at an early age. Building these skills require time and patience. Okay. Why I am saying is that it does not come within a short span of time. So suppose you have an IBPS collective exam within 1 month, and you start your preparation this month, right? It's never enough. Okay, unless you are genius. So it's never enough. So I want you to people work consistently. Consistency is the key, because banking exams, be it civil services, you need more patience. I can see people who have cracked in civil service exams after 5 or 6 attempts, which means they have dedicated their life 5 or 6 years for that exam. I don't expect you to dedicate that much amount of time. Okay, so based on your strength, play the game and be aware of the level of competition. Okay, and another important advice: if you have a smartphone, switch it to a basic phone. If you start preparation, if you start going to start your preparation, okay, because our smartphones and social media, right, though they are eating away your time. Okay, most people are get stressed because of this usage. Okay, they know they want to study, they know they want to limit their access to internet, they want to limit their time in internet, but they cannot simply do it. Okay, when they are not able to do what they want, they get stressed. Okay, so my first and foremost advice to people who are starting with any preparation, right, avoid your smartphones. Use them wisely. Use the internet wisely for your preparation. Okay, do not waste your time in this online portals or online games or social media or WhatsApp. And you have to be mentally ready, the first and foremost thing, because you are going to appear for public services. Once you go for these exams, it may take some time. While your peers, right, they will be joining in government, like private institutions, they will be earning, they will be moving forward with their personal life. But people in this stream, right, they have to be patient. Okay, it may take a year or it may make more than 3 years or well. Okay, but the thing is that the reward is high. Higher the risk, higher the reward. Okay, Joshua, are you there?
Yes, please go ahead.
I'm over with this overview of this exams. Like if
A couple of quick questions to you.
Okay.
From the participants.
Okay.
First question is: can I prepare for competitive exams while working in a private organization? Your thoughts on that?
Yes, you can. Like the thing is that you have to take more time for that. Like most of the private sector, like if you are able to allocate 4 or 3 hours for that exam, and if you work smartly, like because you need to work smart. Even for civil services exams, the most coveted exams, people who have already working in have cleared the exams. Okay, we have a lot of examples. Okay, the thing is that you should have the discipline and the patience. Okay, I have seen some of my friends who are working and who are preparing for the exams, who have cleared the exams. Okay, the thing is that if you are able to consistently dedicate 3 or 4 hours for that work, right, like for that exam, and mostly you do it Saturdays and Sundays for free. Okay, you have to use that as well. The thing with that private, like if you're working in a private organization, you have to dedicate more time. you have to avoid your other social obligations. You will not be able to go to your functions or other family events. So if you are more focused, if you will be able to find time, then you can crack it easily.
Okay. Wonderful. I have few more questions.
Okay.
What is the eligibility for AFCAT, that is Air Force exam?
Okay. Okay, AFCAT. Like the Air Force exams has three streams. Okay, there is a technical stream, there is a non-technical stream. The non-technical, you just need a degree. Okay, for technical stream, you need a engineering degree for that in a particular stream. The vacancy is different for computer science, electronics, or aeronautical. Okay, for AFCAT, a general degree is enough for flying and ground handling. Okay.
Okay. Next is, what is the maximum age to attend exams for IAS?
Again, it depends on the community. So if you are from general community, the 30 is the age limit. So if you are coming from the CST community, okay, it goes up to 38. Okay, so it depends on the community. Okay, 30 to 38, you can fix that. For OBC, the limit is at 34 or 35. Okay.
Okay. So the next question is, okay. Let us say a person has just completed 12th standard. What exams can they take up?
For 12th standard.
Yeah.
Okay. For 12th standard, you can appear for CHSL, SSC CHSL, right? That is for 12th standard only. And MTL, okay, multitasking work, that is also from SSC. And you can appear for Group 4 and VO exams, okay. And mostly about direct, you can apply for Jawan or a soldier post in defense.
Okay, wonderful. So, is there any jobs with mechanical engineers or anything specific to mechanical engineering in either state or central, sir?
Yes, like every engineering service, right? Like every state and central government, right? Like UPSC also conducts Indian engineering service, like Indian administrative service. There is a parallel exam for engineering service, Indian engineering service. So in this engineering service, there are a lot of vacancies for each stream, be it EEE, ECE, computer science, or mechanical. So people who are studying for engineering services, they have to be more focused on their subjects more. Okay, they do not need to worry about their aptitude or general studies more. Okay, so why I didn't cover about it, because the general audience are more about common degree here. So if you are going to appear for engineering services, get your profession oriented to GATE or GATE. Okay, so normally if you prepare for GATE exam, you will be able to appear for engineering services as well. Tamil Nadu state government also has an engineering services, and if you have a GATE score, right, you will be able to appear for public sector units. Okay, PSUs. They will be hiring candidates directly based on their GATE score.
Okay. Government jobs in railway sector, sir.
Yeah, the thing is that I have introduced in that opening slide. There is a discussion for merging this railway sector with UPSC. So UPSC is also going to later on. UPSC is going to be the agency who is going to conduct exams for railways, and railways exams are more related to SSC itself. Okay, so it was in the initial slide. So railways exams, you have to consider more like SSC only.
Okay. So as we come to end of days 1,